We're in Lafayette, Louisiana with another great classic car. I've got Kenneth here, and today we're going to talk about your
1965 Mustang GT Fastback.
Here we go. This time on Cajun Classic Cars TV, we're in Lafayette, Louisiana. Originally established as Vermilionville in the 1820s and incorporated in 1836, Lafayette is named after Marquis de Lafayette, a French nobleman who fought with George Washington in the American Revolutionary War. Lafayette has been a hub of the Louisiana oil industry. It's home to Louisiana University at Lafayette, as well as some of the greatest food you'll ever eat. Lafayette is in an area called Acadiana, after the expulsion of the French-speaking Acadian refugees from Canada by the victorious British at the end of the 7 Years' War. Many Acadians settled in this region. The word Cajun is said to have come from the word Acadian. So let's chat with Kenneth here in Cajun country about his awesome 1965 Mustang Fastback.
Mustang Sally. Guess you better slow your Mustang down.
A fun fact before we get to talking about Kenneth's car here on Cajun Classic Cars TV, Lafayette, Louisiana was named the happiest city in America by Wall Street Journal's Market Watch. So Kenneth, everybody has a story about what got them into their love of cars. What started yours?
Man, really, I'd have to say probably my father. My father, he never had anything worth mentioning other than an old Beretta GTZ. And I remember him ripping around town and just tearing it up in that thing. And that started it. And from there, it actually went to bikes for a short time. And it just grew. Anything with a motor that went fast, that I could go fast in, that's how I got started. And then, into cars. It kind of grew from the bikes as I got older and was able to drive. And I realized I could go fast in the cars on the street. Then that's where it started. That's where it kicked off.
So I understand this is your first foray into classic cars.
It is my first car, yeah, my first classic car. I had it was between this or a C8. I wanted the new C8 Corvette. I went and looked at them at a couple lots, and every lot I would ask, you wouldn't happen to have a 1965, 67 Mustang Fastback? And of course everybody was no. And I did a search online. I looked at a couple of C8s. I did a search online and I found this car, and it was exactly what I wanted. Exactly. It was the black on black. Doesn't have the stripe down the side. Didn't have the racing stripes. It was all black.
Right.
And that was it, man. I went. Let me take a look at it. I'll just go take a look. And I went and took a look at it. And when I first saw the car, I wasn't completely sold until I sat in it. And when I sat in and I got behind the wheel, that was.
Well, I have to tell you a quick story about a similar situation with a car like this of me. So, in the broadcast business, as a lot of folks who are viewing knows, and I worked at a radio station in Gulfport, Mississippi, and every year the Gulf Coast Mustang Club, they would have a giveaway, a raffle of a classic Mustang for Children's Miracle Network. Okay. And I always bought tickets. Well, one year, they asked me if I would MC the ticket giveaway.
Right.
And I said, sure. Then they said, okay, I need you to pull the name. And I said, well, I don't know if I want to do that because I've got my name in there about 5, 6, 7 times. And they said, listen, there are 4,000 names in the hopper. You're not going to win this car, but just have a little fun with it. So I said, sure. So they spun the big wheel, and I reached in, had my microphone in my left hand, reached in with my right, and I looked. First ticket was my name.
No.
The only thing I could think about was, if I do this, my radio station is going to look like we cheated.
No.
I put it back in, reached in. The next one was mine, and I saw 3 or 4 of my others on top.
You put it back in.
Put it back in. That was a 1967. Yours is a 65, but it was a 67 Raven Black. Next day, lost my job and my wife.
Goodness gracious.
And I had no Mustang.
No Mustang to show for it.
No, it would have been nice to be in a Raven Black 1967 Mustang with air conditioner in the summer of the Gulf Coast, waving goodbye to the job and the wife.
Hey, well, today you get to go for a ride in a 65 Raven Black Mustang with air conditioning.
All right, next best thing.
Let's take a walk around the car. She's pretty much stock. We have the US Mags wheels on there. Aside from that, I believe she's all stock. I've got a 302 roller engine in it. It's blueprinted. Got the cam, heads, headers, full exhaust, Flowmasters. But aside from that, I've tried to keep everything as stock as possible. I like the look of the way the car came from the factory. With the louvers on the back, I wasn't a fan of the window that comes back there. I just wanted it exactly the way it is, actually. It's perfect, in my opinion. Let's take a look at the 302. Motor's not stock. Motor's cammed, has heads, headers, full exhaust, and that's pretty much it. It's MSD ignition. Yeah, I believe that's pretty much it. Hey, let's take a look inside now.
So we're inside the 1965 Mustang Fastback. Tell us a little bit about the interior, how stock it is, what kind of stuff may be extra.
It's mostly stock, but it has every available option that 1965 offered. Got heat, AC. I've had the kick panels changed out. Still have the factory ones, but I wanted to go with a sound system. So we have a kicker all throughout the car. It's got the rally pack, which was an option in 65. It's got the pony interior, ponies on the seats. And that's pretty much it. I've got an aftermarket radio that looks factory, but it's not factory. It has Bluetooth capability, so I can put my music from my phone on there. So other than that, she's pretty much stock. The console is actually aftermarket. It is not the factory console that came in the car. This is how the car came originally, but it's a nice little add-on. It gives me cup holders and a place to store my goodies. So, hey Brian, you want to go for a ride?
And a 65 Mustang Fastback? No, of course I don't. No, let's go, crank her up.
Let's go.
So considering this is an old carbureted engine, do you ever have any problems with her or anything like that?
She gets mad at me if I wake her up too early in the morning, but other than that, she runs pretty good.
How long do you have to warm her up in the morning that you feel good warming her up?
It's got an electric choke on it, so you can kind of tell when she evens out and she's running, and you got to touch the throttle and it'll drop down to a good low, and that's when I know she's ready to go.
What do you think her top end speed is, and how close have you come?
Well, I'm limited with the C4 transmission, so it doesn't have an overdrive gear in it. So I'd probably say really pushing her 120, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't put it there. I've had her at 100, and I backed off because I didn't want to burn her up. But she'd probably do 120, 100, maybe 130. That's pushing it. I'd be pushing it hard. We get there quick.
And it must make you feel good for all the looks and everything you get when you're at a red light or got her parked in a parking lot or something like that going through a drive-through, right?
It does. What I like is when I see like an old man will come up, an older gentleman will come up and talk to me about it. and you can tell that he's not even listening to me. He's going down memory lane. He's not listening to what I'm saying. He's looking at the car and remembering his time in it. And that's what I like to see. That's what, yeah, it scares the kids. when I like to, and that's a guilty pleasure. But when it revs up and they jump back, I get a kick out of it.
Well, I understand there's sort of a personal joke in this, is that you got a classic Mustang for your wife, and I think you got the better end of the trade.
Yeah, that's it. It was the ring or the car, and I walked away with the car.
Now that's a true dude speaking right there.
Yes it is. I got the better end of the deal.
You ever do any burnouts in it?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
You're very lucky to have AC, especially when it gets about 110 degrees here in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yes, I am. And then the car doesn't like it. It'll warm the car up. You know, it's older, but it's, as you can tell, it blows plenty cold enough, and it'll freeze you out really quick. So I play with it. I'll turn it on, turn it off. If I got to race somebody, I definitely turn it off. So.
You're more worried about speed than comfort.
Yeah, I'd rather roll the windows down than I would run with the AC on. So
are you originally from Lafayette?
No, I'm not from. I was born in New Orleans, and in 1983, the oil field crashed, and everybody moved to Georgia. So I was raised in a little town called Cartersville, and I came back here, I guess, 20 so years ago, and I've been here ever since. I love Lafayette.
What's your favorite Cajun food?
Favorite Cajun food? I'd have to say crawfish on that one. Gotta go with crawfish. I love some crawfish. Who doesn't around here? Have you enjoyed the ride, Brian?
Absolutely. Are you telling me it's time to go back?
It's time to go back, man. We gotta take it back.
Kenneth let me sit behind the wheel of his 1965 Fastback Mustang. One of my all-time favorite cars, by the way. And I love it, and I want to thank him for letting me come here to Lafayette and chat a little bit about his love of cars, and of course take a cruise in this 65 Mustang. Go to CajunClassicCarsTV.com. It's where you can find out information about cruise-ins and car shows, see great interviews like folks like Jay Leno that we did a couple of months ago, and also see episodes with folks just like Kenneth about their classic cars and their love of cars. It's a great way to share history. Share it with your friends. Go to CajunClassicCarsTV.com. Find us on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, and we'll see you on the road.
Well, if we're done here, I'm going to get back in and go do some more cruising.